So this shelter is what you're going to build tonight. But you're going to have another one exactly like it right here. And the fire is going to be in between the two, right? So you'll have a long fire right here, the length of this shelter, all right? It's going to be one step from the front of this shelter, fire. One more step, the front of the other shelters, all right? That way you got one fire feeding 4 people. You're trapping heat with this, and you're reflecting the heat because you have reflective material here, okay? Normal material, I don't care what it is, canvas, poncho, oilcloth, I don't give a damn what it is. If it's not reflective on the inside, it's not going to reflect any heat, all right? The radiant heat will not stop or be reflected unless you have reflective material here. So you need a reflective blanket to do this right, okay? It will trap some warm air in there and absorb it, but it's going to escape. It won't reflect anything, right? So with this, what you've got is, you've got this set up, not in a parabolic shape, but you at least have angular sides on here, so that as the fire is going in, it's getting reflected back down, okay? And that's important. The other thing that we talked about was the R value of sleeping pads, right? Yep. A single sleeping pad is 1.9 R value. That's not even close to enough for winter weather. You need at least 4 to 5 in theory, all right? But R value is cumulative, and that includes your clothing. So your clothing adds some R value as well. And if you put a leaf litter on the bottom, that adds R value, as long as it's a couple inches, 4 inches thick at a minimum, when it's compressed, that adds R value. If you take your sleeping pad, which you're just trying to protect your body's core temperature, you've got 6 feet of pad there. If you fold it in half at the 1/3 mark or 2/3 mark, so it's long enough for your core doubled up, then you've got 3.9 R value automatically instead of 1.9, or 3.8, excuse me, instead of 1.9. So you doubled the R value of that mat just by folding part of it in half around your core. You add that to the leaf litter, add that to your clothes, and you're gonna be around that 5 or better mark, and you're gonna be battling conduction from the ground at that point and not gonna suffer from that at all, okay? The reflective radiant heat is gonna warm your body, and it's gonna warm your clothes and warm everything you're sleeping with, sleep gear-wise, and you should be pretty comfortable. The key to this is a comfortable night's sleep. This is not, even though this is emergency gear and this is an emergency shelter, you can get a comfortable night's sleep in here, all right? What I'm gonna do tonight is I'm just gonna throw a bedroll on the ground with very little at all and sleep away from the fire. And it's not gonna be a comfortable night's sleep, but I'm gonna sleep because I've done it enough times to do that. I'll sleep, right? But the object of the game truly should be, let's be comfortable if we can, right? So with a little bit of work, we can be comfortable. Now, this is gonna take 2 of your space blankets. You're gonna have to build this tripod, or this tripod right here that we've got in here. What we're gonna show you is how to create this tripod using that utility cord that you have and make what's called a hasty tripod, because we haven't taught you any lashings at all. So we're gonna teach you how to make a tripod without lashings, which is called a hasty tripod, okay? So let me pull this off of here real quick and set it down here. And I'll pull this out of here, which is probably gonna screw this whole thing up. What you wanna do is you wanna give yourself some space between these poles. If you were lashing this with lashings, you wouldn't want any space here. But because you're gonna be twisting these poles, you gotta have some space so that the paracord has room to twist around them, okay? So just go through your bowline like this to get a slip loop in there. And then you can kind of space them out a little bit. I like kind of put my fingers between them. Don't step on your stuff. And you just need to take 2 or 3 wraps around that. Is usually going to be enough. And then if you take the last wrap, I guess I got enough to go around one more time. You take the last wrap and you kind of drop it through, it'll be okay. And once you drop that through, just take that center pole and turn it completely over. Okay.
Man,
so
is it stable.
There's the long one. Yeah, right. And there's the short ones right there. Okay. So that's the way it was in the shelter. It was like this, okay? The shelter was tied to this. And it's very, very, I mean, it's plenty tight. Yeah. But all I have to do is rotate that stick back the other way. Everything's gonna come out, and my cordage is recoverable at that point, which is really the aim of the game, right? We wanna be able to get this back so we can use this for other stuff. This is not expendable. This is something that we're going to keep. Okay? So, pretty simple game. It's the same flat point you've been setting up all day long. Except you're going to put them back to back here. And when you get this here, if there's any question about draft of air through here, duct tape it. Just duct tape them together and don't worry about it, okay?
Heard.
Make sure that you've got the stick that's in front right here, this log. That's to keep, when you're wallering in there at night, all comfortable and sweet, you're not pushing leaves out from underneath you, okay? It also kind of blocks any embers that might try to jump into bed. Now, you really want to make a little bit of a trench for this fire. So something about 1.5 feet wide and something as long as the shelter itself. And it doesn't need to be a deep trench. A couple, 3 inches is enough. But what that will do is, number one, it will encourage the wood to fall in instead of rolling out. And if you slant the walls on that trench, it will also encourage airflow underneath the fire. All right? If you were going to set this up and you had the time available and the space available and you followed the 5 W's that you've been talked about this weekend and you had time to go look for the perfect spot to put your shelter and we weren't dictating it to you, you'd want to put this fire crosswind so that the wind was blowing sideways across the fire all night long. That way it's feeding air to the fire and it's not pushing any smoke into your shelter. Now, the one key thing that you guys are gonna have to worry about tonight is, because we're telling you where to put your shelters basically, is that the peaks of these shelters that are on each side of that fire are exactly the same height. All right?
So that they're equally
smoke
reflecting?
doesn't follow beauty. Smoke follows the highest object. So if you're standing up by the fire and someone else is sitting down, guess who's gonna get the smoke in their face? You are. The same thing right here, okay? If one peak's higher than the other one, that thing's gonna be full of smoke. Unless you got air blowing it this way all night, you're getting smoke in that shelter because it's higher. So make sure that these peaks are the same height, and then you won't have to worry about that.
Unless you don't like your neighbors.
Unless you don't like your neighbor, you think they stink and you want to give them a smoke bath, then you can do whatever you need to do. Everybody understand this?
Yes, sir.
All right, we got one more demo we're going to do for you in the classroom that Todd's going to take care of, and then we're going to go to our final exercise tonight. All right, which is going to involve you guys building a shelter out in the woods.
All right.
All right?
Yay!
Let's do it.